It's a sad reality we live in. People are desperate to change their lives, desperate to change their circumstances, desperate to change their reality. And honestly, who can blame them? If anything, it's a reflection of the world we've created, a world where we're constantly exposed to what everyone else has, a world that constantly reminds us of what we are lacking. And it's heartbreaking that we've reached a point where so many people feel compelled to chase a different reality, one which they believe will finally make them happy. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with wanting to improve your life. The problem begins when you're constantly surrounded by people living the life you wish you had, possessing the things you wish you possessed, the accolades, the status, the cars, the career, the physique, the clothes, the specific partner, the lifestyle, and even the title before their name. And of course, the finances. Let's just be honest here for a moment. Money is usually at the center of most manifestation desires. Whether people admit it or not, it's often the thing they are chasing the most. When you see others with these things, it's natural to yearn for them too. It's natural to feel as though you need them in order to be fulfilled. But what I have noticed that is even sadder is that there are people who profit from that yearning. Now, when I use the word desperation, I'm not using it in a purely negative sense, and I'll explain what I mean later. But there are absolutely people in this world who feed off the energy of someone desperately wanting to manifest a particular outcome. And who are those people? Manifestation coaches, self-help gurus, spiritual teachers, online mentors. Now, not all of them, but some of them. But they will tell you that you can manifest anything you want. They tell you that you can have the life you desire, the reality you dream of, the house with 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and a garage, the perfect relationship, the perfect income. They would even tell you that you are your own God, and that you possess unlimited creative power, and that the world is simply your oyster. But I'm here to tell you something that many people don't want to hear. They are lying to you. And I'm sorry if that sounds harsh, but you cannot manifest absolutely everything you want. You cannot simply create any reality your mind can imagine. But just hear me out. People who believe in manifestation often do everything they are told to do. They follow their techniques, they visualize, they repeat affirmations, they maintain a high vibration, they stay positive, they avoid doubt, they take what they call aligned action. They do everything correctly, yet somehow what they still want doesn't arrive. And you see, when that happens, the manifestation coach always seems to have an explanation. They will say things like, oh, you have a subconscious block. You haven't healed enough. You're not doing the technique right. You need more shadow work. You don't love yourself. There's always another reason. And conveniently, there's always another course, another coaching package, another healing session, or another meditation program available to help you fix the problem. And let me tell you something. It is a scam. It is a brilliant marketing strategy because it keeps you searching for a flaw that may not even exist. But here's the deeper truth that many of these people don't want you to know or don't even understand themselves. You see that wall you keep hitting? The so-called subconscious block they keep weaponizing against you? It may not be a trauma block at all. It may not be because you haven't done enough work. It may not be because you're doing something wrong. Honestly, it just isn't meant for you. It's not part of your path. You see, many of the things people desperately chase are not soul desires. They are ego desires. and you cannot force your soul's path to conform to every wish of the ego. And that's the uncomfortable truth. And I want you to really take that in, because here's another truth. You are never not manifesting. You're always manifesting. Every single day, every single moment, what you do is manifestation. What you think is manifestation. The choices you make are manifestation. You see, manifestation is not something you switch on during a visualization session. It's not a ritual. It's not a technique. It's the way you show up in your life. Manifestation, at its core, is about presence and alignment. When you're present, you naturally make better decisions. You choose thoughts that serve you. You experience emotions that support you. You take actions that move you in a direction that is genuinely right for you. You don't need to force anything. You don't need to overcomplicate it. You simply need to become present and aligned. Now, this is where things become slightly more nuanced. Because, yeah, there are moments where things seem to fall effortlessly in place. You know, you think about something and it appears. An opportunity arrives unexpectedly. A conversation opens a door. Like, those moments absolutely happen. But more often than not, they occur when you're detached from the outcome, when you're not gripping onto it, when you're simply present. And honestly, many of these small manifestations are available within the realm of everyday free will. A parking space becoming available, an unexpected job opportunity email, someone buying you a coffee or a chocolate bar, a timely yes or even a timely no. You might then ask, why are smaller things easier to manifest? And the answer is fairly simple. And it's because smaller manifestations require very little shift in reality. You know, that parking space becoming available, all it requires is someone to leave 2 minutes earlier than planned. Minimal disruption, minimal moving parts, but larger desires are major career change, escaping poverty, moving house, building significant wealth. These outcomes often require thousands of moving parts to align. They involve systems, circumstances, other people's decisions, their free will, opportunities, timing, and sometimes broader economic conditions. That's why action still matters, but it becomes aligned action. When you're present, actions feel natural rather than forced. You see, you're guided more by intuition than by fear, more by your inner knowing than by pressure. And in that state, you create space for peace. You become aware of your thoughts and emotions without being controlled by them. You consciously choose where your energy goes and where it doesn't go. And over time, your intuition naturally guides you toward what is right for you, what is better for you. And that's manifestation. It's found in everyday decisions. What you choose to feed your body, whether you move your body or neglect it, whether you save your money or spend it, whether your actions support the life you want or move you further away from it. How you speak to others, how you treat yourself, whether you engage in self-reflection, whether you escape from reality or face it. You know, I could go on. The point remains the same. These small decisions compound, and over time they shape your reality. But here's the truth again, without sugarcoating it. You cannot control every aspect of your life. You'll hear people say that you can manifest absolutely anything. But if that were true, everyone would already have everything they desire. And clearly that's not reality. You can move towards what you want. You can influence your circumstances. You can create opportunities. But ultimately, life unfolds in a way that is unique to each individual. 2 people can want the same thing. 2 people can take similar action. and still experience entirely different outcomes. Not everything is meant for everyone. And that's precisely why presence, alignment, and detachment matter. Because when you're present, aligned, and less attached to the ego's expectations, you find peace regardless of the outcome. You stop depending on one specific result to feel fulfilled. You begin trusting that what is unfolding is right for you, even if it looks different from what you originally imagined. And eventually, you realize something profound. You start thinking, this is actually my desired reality. Not the one your mind once constructed. Not the one your ego convinced you was necessary, but the one that genuinely fits who you are. See, we all have different paths, different lessons, different experiences, different directions. And when you're truly connected to yourself, you begin to feel that. Your intuition becomes clearer. You understand what is right for you. And you find peace with it. Instead of endlessly chasing a perfect life and feeling defeated when it doesn't arrive, you return to what actually matters, which is being present, choosing thoughts and actions that support you, letting go of the need to control every outcome, trusting the direction your life is taken, surrendering, in essence. That is where real fulfillment is found. And that is manifestation. I'm not saying manifestation doesn't exist. I'm not saying there's no point in trying to improve your life. You absolutely can shape your future. You can grow. You can succeed. You can experience love, fulfillment, abundance, and meaningful change. But what arrives may not always look exactly as you imagined. Sometimes, we become so attached to every specific vision, the exact house, the exact car, the exact relationship, the exact life, the exact partner. I've been there myself. And when reality unfolds differently, we can assume something has gone wrong. We begin to think we're unlucky. We end up thinking life works for everyone else, but not for us. But that isn't necessarily true. Life doesn't always respond to the picture you've created in your mind. It responds to who you are, how you show up, what you choose, and what genuinely aligns with you at a deeper level. So yeah, you will manifest, but often you'll manifest what is right for you, the house that suits you better, the relationship that is healthy for you, the path that genuinely fulfills you. Not always what your ego expected, but often something more aligned than you could have planned yourself. And when you become present, aligned, and detached from outcomes, you begin to understand that. You stop resisting. You stop forcing. You stop believing you failed simply because life looks different from your expectations or the people around you. Instead, you find peace with what is unfolding because you trust that what enters your life is not random. It belongs there. And from that place, fulfillment no longer becomes from controlling every outcome. It comes from being deeply okay with whatever arrives. So please, stop allowing people to weaponize your pain. Stop allowing them to convince you that you are broken. Stop allowing them to convince you that every unmet desire is evidence of some hidden flaw within you. You are not broken, and you are not failing because you haven't mastered a technique. More often than not, you're just simply disconnected from your higher self and the present moment. And, the modern world that you live in, it makes that incredibly easy. We're surrounded by distractions, comparison, competition, constant stimulation, and the ego. Your ego naturally absorbs all of it. That's what the ego does. That is what it was designed for. So the next time you think you desperately want something, I want you to pause and reflect. Peel back the layers, ask yourself, do I truly want this? Or is it simply my ego wanting it? Because those are not always the same thing. And understanding the difference may change your life more than any manifestation technique ever could. So, if you're asking what manifestation actually looks like in practice, it's much more simple than what most online people will tell you. First and foremost, get rid of distractions. Anything that depletes your energy, get off social media. And if you don't have the option to come off it completely due to work, then please use it consciously. So no doom scrolling, no comparing yourself to strangers online. Spend more time alone. Get comfortable with being bored. Reflect, meditate, journal, do your shadow work. Sit with yourself long enough to understand who you are beneath the conditioning, beneath the expectations, and beneath the endless influence of social media and society. Because something interesting happened to me. The more present I became, the more I surrendered control. And the more connected I became to myself, the less I wanted many of the things I used to desperately chase. The lifestyle, the status, the achievements, the image I thought I needed to become. And as I spent more time in solitude, self-reflection, and inner work, I found myself organically being pulled towards an entirely different way of living. And honestly, when I think about the person I was years ago and then the things I thought would make me happy, I barely recognize that version of myself. Not because I failed to manifest those things, but simply because I outgrew them. That's why I strongly believe the real purpose of manifestation isn't to force reality to give you what you want. It's to become so connected to yourself that you discover what is actually meant for you. And when that happens, life becomes much simpler. You feel lighter and you stop chasing every desire. You stop trying to control every outcome. You stop believing that happiness exists somewhere in the future. Instead, you become present enough to recognize what is already unfolding in front of you. And from that place, what is truly aligned with you has a way of finding you naturally. You see, the goal was never to manifest your dream life. The goal was to become the version of yourself that could recognize the life that was meant for you all along.